A series of tip sheets have been developed to support evidence-based practices in Wisconsin's Birth to 3 program. Tip sheets are designed to promote a common understanding, as well as create a common language. Joint visits are an essential practice when implementing a primary service provider approach in early intervention. The tip sheet offers this definition: a method of providing role assistance in which another team member joins the primary service provider, or PSP, on an early intervention visit to support the PSP, the child's caregivers, and the child. This role assistance encompasses coaching, conducting functional assessment, providing technical support, and the sharing of knowledge and expertise. Next, you'll find some important things to know about joint visiting. For example, joint visits are planned when a question or issue is identified by the primary service provider, family members, other caregivers, or other team members that cannot be addressed within the team meeting. It's also important to know that joint visits should not be needed at every visit, but may be needed on consecutive visits or periodically over the time of a child's enrollment in the program. The frequency of joint visits should be driven by the PSP's need for support to address the needs of the child, family, or other caregivers. Be sure to check out what IDEA has to say about using intervention services that are scientifically based on research, and what the Wisconsin Administrative Code has to say about early intervention services, including general conditions and role of providers. A link to the Birth to 3 program operations guide is offered for your convenience. We'd encourage you to look at Chapter 10, Early Intervention Services, particularly Chapter 10.2 on Primary Coach Approach to Teaming, or otherwise known as the Primary Service Provider Approach. Program benefits are provided for your review, as well as several considerations for using joint visits in Part C Early Intervention. For example, preparing. How does your team prepare for joint visits, including clearly identifying the question or issue requiring support, sharing important background information, determining the context of the visit, and identifying roles? And primary relationship. During joint visits, how does your team intentionally acknowledge and respect the existing relationship between the primary service provider and the family? Your team's review and consideration of the various tip sheet components provides an opportunity to create a common understanding and common language among your team. As always, reach out to Resource for professional development needs and feel free to submit a PD request if you have any specific questions.